Hello, people of God. This is my Jacob's Way TV, and I am Dupi Dupi Singer. This is episode 34. Thank you for watching, and thank you for coming along. And like I've always said, I like to hear your feedback. Please feel free to leave a comment behind. Um, After staying 4 years on the side of the highway, the Lord started telling me about going to do to build an altar in the middle of the land, the bush that I was asked to decorate. I kept writing the revelations down. It was quite scary because I wasn't the owner of the land. I wasn't the owner of the land. So why would the Lord tell me to go and do a prayer altar in the middle of the land of somebody that I do not know? I was a little hesitant and I was really afraid. But then I wrote the revelations down. And the Lord finally told me to send for a man of God in Ibadan, a man of God in Ibadan. That if I send to him, I'll send for him, that he was going to come and he will make the vision very clear to me. This man, I was made to know him by God. There was no human introduction. He was living in front of my mother's house in Basharun in Ibadan. And at 6 a.m. every morning, he will ring the bell and he will start a prayer meeting. His voice will ring round the neighborhood. He didn't care about people being disturbed or whatever. That was when I heard the man's voice, when my mother newly moved into that neighborhood. And I heard his voice every day. One day, that was much earlier than when the Lord told me to send for him. The Lord said to me, I should go and greet that man. I should go and say hello to him. I said, but I don't know him. And the Lord said, well, just go. I asked you to. So I obeyed the Lord and went to knock on the door of his house. His wife came out and I said, well, I live in that house opposite you. My mother just moved into the neighborhood. And the Lord told me to come and see the man that is always singing early in the morning when he's doing his early morning prayer meeting here. The woman went to tell the husband, and they ushered me into his office in his house, an elderly man. And when I greeted him nicely, I told him that this was what the Lord told me to come and do. He laughed, he laughed, he laughed. He now asked me to sit down. I still wonder what the meaning of his laughter is or was, but I think he was excited that there was a connectivity in the spirit. That's how, whenever I came to the neighborhood, I will look out for him. He prayed for me that day, prayed for me. And he told me, without even hearing my story, that God is preparing me to be a vessel of honor in his own hands, in God's hands. He gave me so many other revelations. So when the Lord told me to go and start a prayer altar in the middle of that land, and the Lord told me I should send for that same man, I didn't have a choice. I sent for him, and he still lives in Ibadan. And the day that the man was supposed to come was a terribly rainy day. The rain fell as if it was going to drown the whole of Lagos State. I was almost discouraged. I was almost not stepping out. But before this day, I had bought some pegs and some ropes, as it were, so that I can use to peg off the portion of the land that will be the altar. When I was going, I branched in a store and bought a spear, you know, trousers and top for the man of God because I knew it was going to be wet to his pants. The way the rain was falling, and if I mean, especially if you also dare the rain to come. Eventually came and met me where I described for him, and we sat in the car. It was still drizzling, and I told him all the things that the Lord had told me. I gave him all the scriptures that the Lord gave me, and I said, "Well, I don't understand." But the Lord said I should start a prayer altar in the middle of the land. And he was a good listener. When I finished, he said to me, "You will soon understand." And when he brought out his own writings, because he had also had revelations concerning me, it was very surprising that many of the scriptures that the Lord gave me, the Lord had also given to him. And I remember I was quite amazed. It was amazing, you know. The same scriptures that the Lord gave me were also given to him. And for me, that was like a confirmation of the fact that I was in the right company of a person that the Lord had chosen. I told you that the man would sing early in the morning. He would sing a hymn for every morning prayer. He didn't have a particularly good voice, but he sang all the same. So by this time, the rain had stopped. So he asked me to let us go to the middle of the land. We had to carefully find our path to where we thought was like the middle. So he was the one that helped me to clear the middle and put in the pegs and the ropes. And he told me that the Lord said he should come and start the foundation of a church. I didn't want to argue with him. How can God ask you to come and do the foundation of a church in a land that is not mine? I didn't want to argue with him. But I tell you something, that man of God, I cannot remember how long we were there. If it was up to 1 hour, I wouldn't be surprised. Even more. He took his time, we prayed like we were 20 people, laid the foundation of a church, picked hymns and sang the hymns his peculiar way with a voice that is not necessarily sonorous. And he read the prayers of Solomon upon that ground. You remember, this is in Second Chronicles or First Chronicles, where Solomon prayed that, "Lord, I dedicate this temple to you. If there is a famine and the people pray, you should forgive their sins and hear them. If people pray in this place, Lord, hear them." You remember that scripture where Solomon prayed for the temple. The man read it and prayed and said to the Lord, "Keep your daughter here. Let no harm come to her." By the time it was done, the sun was up, and it was dry again because he came to meet me with very wet clothing because of the rain. So from that day on, I didn't stay inside my car anymore under the neem tree. I would take my Bibles, my plastic chairs, and I started to make a path for myself. I was was I afraid? Definitely, yes. I was looking out for things that I could run away from. May I not step on a snake or something? And of course, there were a lot of deaths on the way that I could not avoid. I had to sometimes step over human waste because it was a bush that people will once in a while come in and do their thing. Sometimes when I would have almost matched the human waste, a lot of flies will just buzz off as if to warn me. I will find out when I finally get to the prayer altar. It wasn't such a big place. I will be a little happy that I'd gone through that trouble. I will put my plastic chair down and I will stay there from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. every day. Now, did people come into the bush? Yes. And while I will be praying, I never closed my eyes. I was always watching out for people because I'll be afraid. I was afraid. People will come. People will want to use the place to ease themselves. They come and meet me unexpectedly. As they shiver, I also shiver for fear. And that was where I was for a very long time. What happened next? Well, keep watching. This is my Jacob's Way TV. I'm Dupi Dupi Singer. Please subscribe. Call other people in to watch, share, leave a comment, like, and pray along. Where are you? What is the Lord saying to you? Faith is work. It's not just mere professing. Oh, I have faith. Oh, I have faith. That is the meaning of professing. You are just professing. It's work. You have to get up from point A to point B. You have to obey. You have to trust and obey. Thank you for watching. I love you. Bye bye.